Hey, it's Tuesday. On Tuesdays, I make YouTube videos. I promised myself that I would shave on Monday, so I'd be ready. Obviously, I did not shave. Look at this cowlick in my beard. So I just decided to be super real and tell you that I'm running behind. I didn't wake up today. I didn't meditate yet. I didn't do my rituals. I didn't journal. I didn't yoga. I didn't bulletproof coffee, but I'm showing up messy anyways. Because I said every Tuesday, I'm gonna make a video. Every Tuesday, I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna go shave now and get caught up with my day, and I'm gonna meditate, not for 30 minutes like I prefer, but instead for 5 minutes, because even 5 minutes is better than nothing. Decided to be real with you. I'll see you on the other side of my shave, looking much more primed and proper. See ya. What's up, beautiful humans? I'm back, and I did not shave. I didn't have time. I wanted to shave. I really love being shaven and clean cut for these YouTube videos, but I didn't. And I thought I would lean into making an honest and messy YouTube video. I committed to one video a week for 10 years. That's 520 videos, right? Yep. This is the third video in that series. And I think this is real. I think a lot of us commit to stuff and we're excited in the beginning and we're going on a cool path and the momentum and the adrenaline is taking us, and then something happens. We wake up late. We get into a fight with someone. It's a rainy day. We get into our heads and in our own ways, and we fall off. And I wanted to dedicate this entire video to have a conversation around consistency. Because if you are serious about being an artist, a creator, about going into your heart and expressing yourself, not just once, but on an ongoing basis. I know a lot of you out there want to do this professionally, want to make money doing it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't do that without consistency. And I think there's a lot of myths around what consistency is, and I want to break them down and explore a different possibility of what consistency can be. A lot of people that know me love to tell me that I'm like the most consistent content creator they know. And I'm always like shocked because in my head, I'm like, I don't feel consistent at all. And maybe that's because I've got some delusional standard of consistency. But the reality is I am pretty consistent. I've been making meditations for years. I've been doing photography. I've been doing all this content creation, but it was like this. It wasn't like this. And every time I went like this, I got a little bit better. So they weren't big drops. So here are a couple of my secret weapons to consistency. Number one, you need accountability anchors. Okay? I firmly believe nobody does anything without accountability. It's just like not possible. Maybe you don't have an accountability group or a mastermind group or a team, but you're probably accountable to like your kid or your family or something. There's something that's driving you. Prove me wrong if you think people do things without accountability, but I don't believe that to be true. And so if you don't have an accountability anchor, and what I mean is on Mondays and Wednesdays, my collaborator, my writing partner, Sal Talon, works with me in the mornings and we do morning sprints. She's expecting a draft of something by 8 a.m. exactly to the second. She'll message me saying, good morning, and we go into the whole process. On Fridays, I have artist morning I gotta get ready for. There's like 70, 80, 90 people that show up for the Zoom live session expecting a meditation. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have accountability anchors. Without those, I'm all over the place. Okay? So first thing is get yourself an accountability anchor of some sort. You know, I pay Sal, But if you can't pay someone, then find a buddy and say, we're going to do this. And it's a non-negotiable. Number 2, you got to have a goal. To get consistent, without a goal, you're kind of just like floundering around. And so I think people approach goals very focused on an outcome. I want to start a YouTube and get 100,000 followers. I want to write a book and sell 1 million copies. I want to make $100,000 this year. And those are outcome-based goals. In my experience, they get you nowhere because you stop enjoying the actual process, the moment you're in, and you're constantly thinking about this future place where you've achieved the goal. And we're missing the joy available to us right now, right here. And instead of focusing on outcome-based goals, when I achieve this, I will be a success, I have started focusing on time-based goals. I'm going to commit 5 years to photography with the goal of becoming a very good photographer. That was my goal when I started photography. Not the best in the world, not the greatest there ever was, but for 5 years, I'm going to commit myself. And at the end, if I'm a really good photographer, it was a success. I'm going to commit myself to 10 years of YouTube. And within that 10 years, I also always include a feeling goal. And I'm going to be having fun. It's going to be thrilling. I'm going to be growing. It's going to be joyful, in that 10-year period. So I'm committing to a time and I'm committing to an experience instead of I'm committing to an outcome, and the middle is completely like whatever happens, happens. The middle is the best part. The middle is the juicy center, the sacred middle. We're supposed to be enjoying the middle, not just the beginnings and the ends. And the middle is hard because we don't have the adrenaline of the beginning and we don't have the validation of the end. And it's like, how do you find enjoyment in the middle? And when I set these time-based goals, the other thing that's interesting is immediately, if I'm doing it just for validation or just for outcome or just for ego, I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much time in this thing. That's crazy. But if I'm like, I actually love photos, I actually love meditations, I actually love expressing myself through videos and building a community on YouTube, it's like, yes, I would love to commit myself for a period of time. And it shows me that my intentions are deep. They're not just chasing a trend or chasing, virality. And so instead of having a goal that is outcome-based, experiment and explore time-based and feeling-based goals. Number 3, tap into the power of your why. You're gonna have hard days. You're gonna have unsure days. You're gonna have days where you're doubting everything and you wanna quit. You're gonna have days where you're exhausted. You're gonna have days that people have talked smack about you and they're putting you down. That's just a part of the process. The only way you can avoid that part of the process is by playing so small that nobody ever knows about you. Nobody ever hears about you. You never promote yourself. You never get yourself out there. And the only people that are there taking your content in are people who are like your super close circle that will love anything you do. And then so 100% of the feedback will be positive. But as soon as you get past that inner circle, there'll be people who don't like your stuff. And that's just an indication that you have gone past a small little bubble. And that's great news. Now, that's also harsh. It's also difficult. It's also depleting. And so in those days where we want to jump off and fall off of our consistency, what we really need is to tap into our why. Like, why am I truly doing this? Why am I putting all this time, energy, and money into this thing? And for me, I'll share, because it's connected to why I'm here. It is the number one mission of why I am here. I'm here as a cosmic artist, as a soul who decided to come to Earth at this particular time and this particular human to have this particular experience, to do three things: to experience, explore, and express myself. And YouTube just happens to be this juicy platform where I can do all of that with no time limits, with no cost to creating these. These are so easy to create. And it so strongly connects to my why of being here as a soul, as a human. And it encourages me to go out and experience stuff so I can like feel it, and it validates my feelings, and it allows me to think about stuff and break things into, you know, like interesting ways of seeing the world, and then come here and express it. And that why motivates me through the tough days and the dark nights and all that stuff. So tapping into your why is like that superpower that will get you through those really difficult times where you want to quit. Number 4, this one, I think people miss all the time. And I know this because when people think about me and my consistency, they're always like, oh man, you must wake up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, I don't. Oh, you must like every day you do everything exactly to plan. I'm like, no, definitely don't. And I think there's a misconception of me and my consistency. And that's why I wanted to show up today and be like, guys, I slept in. I didn't shave, but I still showed up. So number 4 is the magic ingredient that I think so many people are missing. And it's flexibility. You gotta be flexible because the seasons change, the weather changes, your body changes, things change. And if you're so bloody rigid that your structure will break because it has no flexibility, you're destined to fail. You know, everyone is so focused on like, how do I get that first thing out? How do I get the first 10 out? And I'm like, don't worry about the first 10. Think, how are you going to get, like, for me at least, I'm like, how am I going to get to 10 years? How am I going to get to 1,000 videos? And the only way I can do that is by having flexibility, by making sure I am enjoying the process. It's not so rigid that I'm like, I hate this. This is so terrible. There's too much discipline. You need discipline, don't get me wrong, but when it's so bloody rigid that creativity, when you open it up, it has no room to flow. But the thing is you have no structure and no discipline. Creativity that is this infinite waterfall, when you open it up, it puddles and goes nowhere. You need structure, the right amount of structure, the right amount of flexibility to allow that beautiful flow of creative energy to come through without being trapped. And so those anchors I mentioned in the earlier point help me, bring me back so that I don't like lose all my structure. I know on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I gotta be back waking up early, doing my stuff, my meditating, my yoga, my journaling. And so today when I woke up much later and did none of those things, I had flexibility. I didn't just give up. I sat down for 5 minutes and I meditated. I did a little baby stretch. I ordered coffee instead of making my own coffee. And I showed up. I showed up to this video because I'm like, I promised, I'm doing this thing and I'm showing up. Even if I'm messy, even if I'm shaving. That's the flexibility. See these hairs? This is flexible. This isn't rigid. So, be kind, be patient, be compassionate with yourself. Listen to your body when your body needs a little bit of extra sleep, but have some sort of boundary. You know, I don't go more than 2 days without meditating. I need to work out every single week. I don't let it go too far. So figure out where your flexibility is, but make sure it's not so bloody rigid that it'll break. Number 5, numero 5. Check your ego. Check your entitlement. What I mean by that is, for a lot of us, when we start, the numbers are small. 3 people show up, 10 people show up, 100 people watch, maybe 100 people watch, maybe 2 people comment, maybe, and then our energy drops. And we have this expectation that the audience owes us something. We have this expectation that we're supposed to be growing at a specific speed. And when that isn't there initially, we get discouraged and it takes our energy away. And trust me, I've been there myself many times. And we might have a wonderful idea. We might have a really important message to share. But in those early phases, when the numbers don't match the excitement and energy we have, we kill our own energy. We chop our own feet off. And it's like, and we quit. And again, I think everyone is so focused on the first 6 months, on the first launch, and they're missing what could be possible when we think about it long term. I love that Tony Robbins quote that people are consistently overestimating what they can do in a short period of time and underestimating what they can do in a long period of time. And so if you have these conscious or unconscious expectations that you need to achieve a certain number by a certain date, and you don't, and you let that leak your energy, there's no way for you to be consistent. You're not going to show up next time because you're hurt, you're injured, you're ashamed, you're embarrassed. And I want to say, I'm not one of those, screw everybody else, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm just going to focus on my thing entirely and just do my thing. I don't think that's possible to do that entirely. I do have patience and compassion for our younger selves that are maybe hurting when people don't come to your YouTube video and you only get 50 views, you only get 100 views, when people don't show up to your Zoom calls. I know what it's like. My younger part gets hurt too. It's like someone doesn't come to my birthday party when I was a kid. And so instead of spending 100% of our time thinking about that younger part and that trauma, I think maybe 20% of the time we can parent our younger self the way that we wished that part was seen and witnessed and protected. And then the other 80%, we get back to remembering and zooming out and seeing the broader perspective and remembering that the universe has our back and there are all these other people that could benefit and be served by hearing our story, our real, honest story. And so those are the things I use to give me energy, to keep me consistent. Some of them will work for you, some of them won't. But I want you to know that it's constant practice. It's constant practice. And if you have made your practice starting and giving up, it's going to take some time to reprogram yourself and create a new identity that you are someone that starts and slowly, continually, joyfully continues consistently. Thank you for listening to this YouTube video. This was fun to make. I tried something different because I'm on a 10-year journey myself. And maybe this jumping from place to place style is not working. And maybe it is. And guess what? It's all information. All of it's information to help me get to where I'm going. So I'm willing to make mistakes. I'm willing to get messy because that's a part of my journey of continually experiencing, expressing, and exploring this human experience. See ya. Peace.